Hello, good evening, SMVers. This is Satellite Media. If you are new to the channel, kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. Let us look at this political development, a situation where Atiku'S coalition is proposing for Atiku to run for a single term, and they are proposing that Atiku will run with a P2B, that Obi will be the vice president, while Atiku will run for a single term, and thereafter Obi will take over. But at this point, let me quickly say that it is very clear that the average Biafran, the average Igbo man, is not interested in Nigerian presidential election, is not interested in anything in Nigeria. Of course, what they want is the sovereign state of Biafra. They have made it very clear in different fora in the pursuit of that agenda through self-determination that Nanukali is pursuing. But again, I think I would have even advised the president, talking about Senator Amebola Tinubu, to summon courage and even give it a trial. Let us see if we organize a referendum, whether those that say they want to secede from the country will be in the majority. Because for me, that is the way to go. Since self-determination is a right, of course, we understand that it's a UN charter that has been ratified in Nigeria. To that extent, it's a law in Nigerian legal jurisprudence. Because if you look at that Igbo issue in Nigeria, you begin to wonder, from the inception of this country, let us even look at the inception of this democracy in 1999. You understand that we actually have three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. We started with Obasanjo, who governed for 8 years. After that, he went to the north, where Yaradua governed for 6 years. He returned, and Jonathan handled it for about 8 years. And when he's supposed to go back to of course, he went back to the north. We saw Buhari handling for another 8 years. When he ought to come back to the south, of course, we understand that by our standard, he's supposed to go to the southeastern part of the country. As we have it, Tinubu grabbed it, and he's the current president. And if you look at even before that election, in the build-up to that 2023 presidential election, you agree with me that of all the candidates of the election, going by their manifestos, going by all the outings, public debate and all that, will be stand out in all of them. Because this is a man who, of course, made it very clear that he was trying to bring Nigeria from consumption to production. Of course, nobody have doubted that that is the way to go. But since this government have been in place, they have not make it a necessity to even think in that direction. And we understand that Obi himself is someone, of course, who have history of prudent management of resources. So, and if you look at all his profile, you understand that he cannot be accused. You may like his face or you don't like his face, but he cannot be accused of maybe financial malfeasance while in office or anything. But the point here is, must Atiku go for the president and Obi the vice president? Is it not possible that an Atiku will sacrifice and decide not to contest, and every other opposition political parties will queue behind Obi and throw their weight behind Obi, if actually they want to challenge the presidency, or rather the Tinubu in 2027 through a coalition? Because the way it is very clear that the North want this power back. And the only way they can get back to this power is to form alliance. And the alliance they hitherto have with the West, talking about the North and the western part of the country, have broken down, because currently Tinubu is looking for marriage in other part of the country. And the way it is, the best thing the North can do is to look for ways to either form alliance with the southeastern part of the country, southern part of the country, as against the southwest. But the way it is, I don't think the south, the southeast, we want to settle for anything less than supporting Obi for the presidential candidate of any formidable coalition. Because for me, if you are looking at somebody who has the potential, who have the managerial acumen, who have what it takes, the affability to drive the affairs of this country, I think it is found in the man, P2B. But again, even if the whole populace are the one that will go out, come out to vote, because we understand that even in the last election, it was not the political parties that determined how the vote went, even though we understand that there were some levels of serious manipulation. Because if you look at a Delta State, for instance, you understand that even with Okowa, who was a vice presidential candidate to Atiku in that election, he lost to a P2B who was the Labour Party candidate in that election. Even in Edo State, Obi won clearly in Edo State. Of course, Labour Party was not having any structure in the whole of Southeast, South-South, Southeast, South-South, some part of a middle belt, but Obi measured very well, even in Abuja, in Lagos here. So, holistically speaking, Obi political influence in terms of how he can woo a magnetized vote cannot be questioned any longer. But to say Atiku, or rather the North or the Fulani, should be the one to call the shots for the purpose of getting back to power, I think it's something the South, or rather the South side, the Southeast, need to sit down and look at it critically. And for me, there's nothing even sacrosanct about Nigeria. Of course, God by providence created Nigeria, 3 different ethnic groups and other ethnic minorities. The Igbos are created with their own distinct identity in terms of language. The same thing is with the Yoruba. The same thing is with the Hausas. So it is even the British government that amalgamated Nigerians together without their consent. Even the very constitution that binds everybody together, that goes by in the preamble of it, where it says, "We the people of Nigerians." You begin to wonder at what point did Nigerians come together to write that constitution? And this constitution that bound everybody together. So what we are saying is, if for any reason you are trying to draft Obi into 2027, Obi should be given the candidate of or the major coalition that is being touted. Anything short of that, for me, it is not healthy for our democracy, because we are looking for someone who have the ability, who have the potential, who have what it takes to drive the sinking ship of Nigeria to safety. As it is, we have seen it worse in the system of Nigeria in terms of security. Look at where we are. And again, one was thinking that Tinubu will have what it takes to address the essence of the Fulani herdsmen. But surprisingly, though he's still in the saddle, but up to now, I'm not satisfied with the level of handling of issues. A situation where life is valueless in places like Plateau, in places like Benue, Southern Kaduna, where you see serious level of kidnapping, serious level of killing, serious level of maiming by Fulani military. And you begin to ask and wonder, the same Atiku who is driving this coalition, who want to be at the helm of affairs, is still a Fulani man. So where is the hope that if Atiku, another Fulani man, gets to power, where is the guarantee that Nigerians will not go back to the dark days of a Buhari? Of course, we understand that under Buhari, there were so many attempts of the government to bring about major policies that seem as if it is skewed in favor of the Fulani. Talking about the Ruga, talking about the Fulani settlement, talking about different form of policies, even the one that has to do with the waterways, that the federal government wanted to take over waterways and all that. We understand that all that were being skewed in favor of the Fulani to create avenue for them to actually do their business of cattle rearing. But we understand that nobody is saying anybody should not do his business of cattle rearing, but it is private business that people should do without interfering with other people's way of life and other people's business. Of course, we are seeing it worse under this administration, a situation where even the Fulani nationality movement, who even attempted the life of the former governor of Benue, talking about Autumn, as it stands, nobody has been arrested, nobody is under prosecution. And again, we are now seeing a major movement, a major coalition in sight. And the man touted to be at the helm of affairs is another Fulani man. So what is the guarantee that Nigerians will be safe in the hand of another Fulani man? If all we are saying is, let us see if we can get reprieve through this administration, and we have not gotten it. What is guaranteed that when another Fulani man goes in there, that he will address all these concerns and challenges in terms of insecurity we are witnessing in different parts of the country? I understand that the way it stands currently, the Hausa man have been completely subdued, conquered and subjugated by the Fulani. There's no two ways about that. If you look at what is happening, almost all the available political positions in the northern part of the country, in Hausa communities, is being dominated by the Fulani. I saw a video recently, of course, where a lady from Katsina made it very clear that even in Katsina that is Hausa dominated, that the Fulani has always emerged as a governor. So you begin to wonder, how does this happen? How did the Hausa man get to this point? So if for any reason the SARS should come together for the purpose of safety of lives and property against what is perceived as conquest of the Fulani, I think the SARS need to have a serious thought about who they should go for. Thank you very much. This is Atiku'S.